Hello and welcome to the Best and Brightest Show. I'm Peace Mitchell and I'm co-founder of Mompreneur and the Women's Business School. The Women's Business School runs a 6-month incubator program for pre-launch and early stage businesses to really help them get all of the foundations in place for their business. We also have a 6-month accelerator program for more established businesses who are wanting to scale internationally or expand their business. Both of these programs are currently running for 2021. Our next intake will be happening in early 2022. So keep an eye out later in the year if you are thinking about joining us for the Women's Business School programs. Today on the show, we're so excited to have very special guests joining us, Stevie and Nadia from Active Truth. Hello and welcome, Stevie and Nadia.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
We're really good, thank you.
It's so great to have you here on the podcast. For people who haven't met you before, I'd love you just to tell us a bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so we are the founders of Active Truth, which is a size-inclusive activewear brand. We became friends about 10 years ago now. We moved to Brisbane on the same day into either side of a duplex townhouse and became fast friends. We both had new little babies and new to the area. So we sort of bonded around walking around the local parks. And yeah, so it's a friendship to start with. We became pregnant with our second kids at the same time. And it was right after that we started going to the gym together, joined the gym, put the kids in the creche. Through that, we started searching for new activewear because our bodies had changed a lot after having 2 babies. And we realized it wasn't as easy as we hoped it would be to find a decent pair of tights. So, you know, the idea of going to a Westfield to try on a Lycra with 2 kids in tow was not appealing at all. So we were shopping online, finding brands through Instagram, and they just weren't performing. So we started talking to our friends and realized that a lot of women were having the same problem, particularly our friends who were wearing, size 16. The average size woman in Australia is a size 16, and she was having even more trouble than us. So not only were the tights that we were finding in your standard stores not performing, but she didn't even have the range of choice that we had. Generally, it was black, baggy, poor performing. Go into a department store, you're back into the back corner. So as it started the wheels turning about, why isn't there a brand out there that's catering to a wider range of women and also, that's celebrating women. So much of the marketing out there, especially around activewear, is designed to make women feel bad about themselves, prey on insecurities, tell you should be skinnier or fitter or stronger. And we just, we thought there was space for a brand that really celebrated women, made women feel good about themselves. Whether you're getting out for a 10-minute walk around the block or you're doing a CrossFit class, everyone's doing a really great job finding time in their busy lives to be active. So that's where the seed started for Active Truth. And then now we're 5 years in, it's sort of grown beyond our wildest dreams, and we've got a team of 12 here in Brisbane. Absolutely loving it.
It's so good. I love your story, and I love that at the heart of everything you do, you're looking at ways to include women and make them feel more confident and better about themselves and give them options and alternatives that just didn't exist in the market before. So
absolutely.
Yeah, keep going. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, and sort of from that, I guess the other big part of the business I didn't mention is our maternity side, maternity and postnatal activewear. So we started just with regular activewear, but soon we realised that the maternity space was another area that was really underserved by the market. And women, when you're pregnant, you still want to stay active. Nadia was wearing her husband's shorts when she was pregnant, and I was wearing some nice see-through cotton bonds tights, which were, couldn't get a sweat going in them. So, we really do look to solve problems from maternity to our tall and petite ranges. It's really about who's the customer out there that's being underserved by the market and how can we help them.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. And I love that you've grown, you've grown so quickly in 5 years. You're now employing women. You've got 12 staff members who are working with you. But I'm sure that some challenges come with that kind of fast growth. I mean, we found you back in 2017 through the Osmompreneur Awards when you were just starting out. And even then, we could see the huge potential for your brand, and you've just continued to skyrocket since then. But what have been some of the challenges that you've had to face along the way?
We face challenges every single day in everything that we do, and sometimes we learn from them. Sometimes they present amazing opportunities. I think the biggest one for me personally to date has been managing inventory and cash flow. With the inventory management side of things, just learning about different cycles, different seasons, different quantities, demand forecasting, managing stock that is returned. So that has been a huge learning for me. And then cash flow is something that I'm still dealing with every single day. There's a point there where I really thought that we got on top of it, and then COVID hit. So that's something that we've really invested in our learnings. We went and did a course through the Institute of Management here in Brisbane, and that was a 2-day course, and that really just took us over the basics. Stevie has a background in communications. I was a lawyer, so no financial training whatsoever. I kind of knew what a P&L was and what a balance sheet was, and now I know them very well, very familiar with them. And we really emphasise, particularly within the team, making decisions for commercial reasons, because we all have these brilliant, great marketing ideas and these great new ideas for products, but at the end of the day, we have to continue to be a sustainable business, and not knowing our numbers and how that impacts the wider business is a big part of what we do, or particularly what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that so many small business owners face, the challenges that come with cash flow and different periods and seasons and things like that. And for both of you, you didn't actually come from the fashion industry. Had you worked in fashion before?
No. Well, we joke, my grandfather still darns my socks, and I still use sticky tape when my hem falls down, but I found out there's actually proper hem tape now. So absolute no idea when it came to working in business or fashion. I do think that it was really good for us having no idea at all, because we really started from basics, and that's one of the key things about our product is that we don't just have a sample size from a size 8 and grade up like most traditional fashion brands do. Every single one of our products is fitted on a person in that size category. Every single one of our products has a different pattern for a different size. And we really try and test and make sure that it's fitting the female form. A lot of legging brands just have a straight leg when they make their leggings. If you have a look at our patterns, they're lines like this. And I remember when we went to a local factory here that was going to help us with our supply issues, and they were looking at the patterns and they're like, oh, there's something really, really wrong with it. Like, you can't do this. And they kept trying to change it, and we were just like, stick to the pattern. We know what we're doing. We've got this. So, yeah, we've really learned through the process. We've got a great manufacturing partner who's our main manufacturing partner here in Brisbane. We do work with multiple factories across Australia and also overseas. But she has really held my hand from day one and taken me through the processes, taught me the difference between a twin needle and a flat lock stitch, and all sorts of things that I had no idea existed, and still learning, like still sitting down at the machine with her when I go out there, because I have these great ideas about what I want to do, and she'll say, no, you can't do that, or this is the better way. And so we really approach it with an open mind and trying to solve problems as opposed to going with what the pattern makers have been saying for the last 20 years.
I think it's great to have people around you who can support you through your business. And I know that you guys are really passionate about supporting other women as well. And you've had some great collaborations quite recently this year. So can you tell us about the work that you're doing with Share the Dignity?
Absolutely. So we're into our, I'm going to say third year, collaborating with fourth year, my goodness. We met Rochelle from Share the Dignity at your event at the awards, and as fellow Brisbaneites had a great connection, and we really wanted to use the business, use the platform to help what she's doing there. So we do a limited edition tide every year, which coincides with their Move for Dignity campaign, and we donate a proceeds from every sale to the charity, which has been really, really well received, both from our community and from her community. And we're really excited. We're about to release the details shortly of this year's print.
Yeah. One thing I do love about this promotion, this collaboration as well, is that we've been able to involve the volunteers from the organisation in the photo shoots. This year we'll be involving the Share the Dignity community in a different way, but that's about to be announced very shortly. So there's just lots of ways of getting the community involved. That's not just, here's a pair of tights, please purchase them. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that you're giving back in that way and that you're supporting women through this initiative and really supporting the work that Share the Dignity does to, help all those women out there. That's wonderful. And you've had another collaboration with another one of our Osmompreneur Award winners recently, with Bobby Lockyer. Can you tell us about that project?
Yes, that was such an exciting project, and one we, Bobby and I connected it was about February or March last year, and we started chatting, and one of the things that we really wanted to do was to create some beautiful artwork that represented women, and she tells this beautiful story of the Brolga in the dream time, and that the Brolga's strong and she's passionate. And so Bobby, she hand painted the painting herself. She filmed it all. I had hoped to head over to Port Hedland to photograph and do the campaign with her, but COVID got in the way there. So Bobby and her girlfriends based in Port Hedland photographed the campaign out there, and the images, if you haven't seen them, are just so spectacular. They are the most beautiful images that you'll ever see. And then at the same time, we did our e-commerce product shots in-house here, and we did a call out on our community, and we had, I think there was 6 Indigenous ladies that live in the local southeast Queensland area, and they came in, and I was about 10 minutes late to the shoot, and they were all in here and they were all laughing, and I was like, oh, you all must know each other, and they're like, no, and they had the best time. And Bobby and I were on a video conference call at the time that the e-commerce shoot was going on, and I brought it out, and she got a chance to say hello to the girls, and it was the most beautiful moment. There was just tears everywhere, and it was just such a lovely celebration of women and friendship, and definitely probably my proudest collaboration to date.
Oh, that's beautiful. So great to hear that. What a great story. And I love that, you're including all kinds of women. It's not just body sizes, but, different cultures and everything like that in your story. I think that's really beautiful. So what have been some of your proudest achievements across the time that, in the last 5 years?
I think for me, it probably sounds silly, but one of my biggest achievements is actually just starting the business. I think everyone, has great ideas. You can have multiple ideas, but the actual doing it and starting it is a big leap, and it's a big leap of faith and a commitment to do those hard yards. I mean, Nadia and I, not only do we have young kids at the time, but we're also both back at work. So this was our passion project on the side, night times, weekends, and we did that for probably a year until we launched in the getting ready to launch. And then for the first year of the business, we were running the business and also working in full-time jobs. So I think doing those hard yards and going through the grind, I'm really proud that we did that because it was really hard. It was really, really hard. But, you know, we're reaping the rewards and the outcome of that now. I think there's, you know, the misconception that starting a business as a mum is, you know, you get to have the best of both worlds. You get to be at home with your kids and you get to have a business. And it's great. And it is great. I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm so happy we've done it. But, you know, it's tough. And, you know, we missed a lot of, you know, school events and, you know, birthday parties and our own social events and things like that in the first year. Because we were working and, you know, we were lucky because we had each other. So I wasn't, you know, working on my own. I was, you know, working with my best friend and doing something we were really passionate about. But, you know, at the same time, you know, it's hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk about that. Your best friends and your business partners, how do you make it work?
Look, in retrospect, I don't think we really thought about it too much going into it. We both, you know, really loved the idea of Active Truth and, you know, we were friends, we got along. But now, I mean, we work really, really well together. We balance each other out a lot in our strengths. We both really support each other through work, but also personally. You know, our kids, both our youngest and our eldest are all best friends, same schools. So we're, you know, constantly, I mean, I think we communicate our logistics more with each other than we do our husbands, because who's picking up who and when are you going to be here and what are we doing? So I guess we support each other in that way. We definitely support each other emotionally through the, you know, the highs and the lows of running a business. So, you know, I think we're really, really fortunate, and, you know, it's one of my favorite things about being at Active Truth is working together. And we do, you know, we've got different areas of the business that we focus on, but we do overlap a lot, and we like, you know, we talk things out and make a lot of decisions together still.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think it's really important to have shared values and a shared vision when you're in a business partnership, but it's also important to have different skills, and it feels like that's what you guys have. You've got those complementary skill sets where, you know, you specialize in communications and you've got the legal background, but you have that shared vision of supporting women and inclusion and diversity and all of that, and put that all together and it's a winning formula. So, yeah, really cool.
You know, we have a shared work ethic as well, and a, you know, a shared vision of where we want the business to go. So.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So what advice would you have to someone who was starting out in business that had an idea? What would you say to them?
I would say, and this is always a really difficult one, I think for me, with retrospect, is really understanding, for me, like I've definitely come from that figures background, is really understanding you know, is it a business or is it a passion project? I think, you know, the other part is really understanding your why and your customer and what you're doing, but making sure from the get-go that it is something that can be sustainable moving forward, because there are lots of brilliant ideas. But I'm also conscious I have seen a lot of friends invest a lot of time, a lot of money into projects that were sort of never sustainable from the start. In saying that, though, it's probably significantly cheaper than going and doing an MBA or something like that, and you learn from those experiences. But definitely really having that full understanding of what a business actually is, as opposed to just a product or a service that you're offering.
So, and I think for me is understanding your why and what's your point of difference. I mean, I think when we told people that we were going to start an activewear brand, everyone's like, I mean, is there not enough active brands in the world already? So, and, you know, if we did just do what everyone else was doing and have some nice prints on there, we would have gotten nowhere. Like, really, what is our point of difference? Who is our customer, and how are we going to stand out?
And I think too, that's something that, like, even when you're starting, I mean, obviously we're talking about starting out, but this is what Stevie and I do every single day. We were talking about our email marketing plan for the next 3 months, and we're like, what unique selling points are we really going to focus on this month and up to the November sales. We're going through an educational phase with our customers at the moment. And so always coming back in every decision we make as to what those unique selling propositions are. And even with our product development team earlier on in the week, we started forecasting for next year. And we're really looking at the data from, for example, our returns data. People can put in, why they've returned the product. But we do a survey every year that surveys customers about different aspects of the business. We go through that in significant detail. We hop on the phone. We get feedback from the customer service team. So we really, really hone in on what it is that makes us different and why people like us too. Like that's also really understanding the people that are having issues, but also why people like us. Because if we can replicate that across the broader spectrum, we'll continue to have a really positive impact.
I think so. I think the customer experience is so important, and it's something that we are really focused on, and having an exceptional customer experience, particularly for us, because a lot of our customers have had really bad experiences in the past, whether it's just shopping online, fashion in general, activewear. So how can we support them through the process and give them a great experience? And now we do that for things like free express shipping and online returns portal, live chat. They weren't the things. We couldn't afford to do that when we were starting the business. We were on a budget, but we did handwrite cards. We did pick up the phone and give someone a call, and get their feedback and introduce ourselves. So there's different things you can do at different stages of the business. But for me, customer experience is so important to get them coming back and shopping with you again, to get them telling your friends, how great your brand is.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we say too is one small good customer experience can do so much more than just sending out a 20% off discount code to someone. Like that long-term customer loyalty comes from those experiences.
Yeah, I love that. That's such great advice. And you can tell that the customers have been, a big part of your vision from day one. The fact that, as you said, you'd handwrite notes and give them a phone call in those early days, and now you've got more advanced systems, but you've been consistent with that, with always thinking about the customer experience and how you can look after your customers. They're fantastic tips. Thank you. So the next thing I'd love to chat about is you've both got still quite young kids. How do you manage motherhood, running this growing business, and looking after yourselves as well, your own self-care?
Well, that goes like this quite a bit.
It does. There's no magic bullet. I think it's for me, it's just checking in with the different areas of my life. I think particularly over COVID and this year, I'll be honest, we have run ourselves into the ground, and there will be, I think, just the pendulum swings. Sometimes we're looking after ourselves better than other times, but I think, we don't do everything perfectly. Nadia's kids tease her because nothing's ever homemade, and we're like, well, you're getting a nutritious meal and someone else might have made it, but that's okay. So I think, I don't know if that's an answer. It's, accept the fact that you can't do everything. Think about the parts that are important for you. Home cooking might not be a priority. Nadia also spends a lot of time kicking footy and bowling cricket balls at her kids. So, it's, you've got to choose the areas where you want to focus.
I think too, despite also working together, we also train together, and that really keeps us accountable. And, so that we, being realistic, so that we can do it, we do get up at 4:45 every morning, and we're training together at 5 o'clock every morning. And, that's not for everyone, and, that's not always sustainable forever as well. And we also listen to our bodies. There was a period there, particularly during COVID, where our bodies just couldn't train at that intensity that we used to. So we walked together, we take the dogs for a walk, we did yoga. We're feeling better at the moment, so we're in the gym a little bit harder at the moment. But I think that accountability, it gets me out of bed in the morning because I know I've got to pick Stevie up. So, so I think that really helps, having someone to share that with.
I love that. I love that you Yeah, that you support each other with your health and fitness goals, as well as, in the business, and as you were saying before, picking up the kids from school and all of that. It's just,
We spend a lot of time together.
No, it's so good, so good. I'm very passionate about the sisterhood and connection and women supporting each other. So yeah, I love to see that you guys are walking the talk and living that. It's wonderful. So final question, what do you think is the secret to success?
I think for me at the moment it's having that passion and really believing in what I'm doing. And I think for a little while there, I lost it recently. And there was just a couple of things that have happened in the media in-house here that's really reignited that fire for me. And this is what I want to do. This is what I believe in. I want to make a difference in the community. I want to make a difference for my family. I know that, I'm there, I'm financially supporting my family. I know that I'm a role model for my children. They come into the office, they see what we do on a day-to-day basis. They're out at the factory. They love talking about products. I've got one child that'll walk into anywhere and feel he's 8 and he'll feel fabrics. So I know I'm a good role model. I might not be a good cook, but I'm a good role model in other aspects. And I think just really it's my way of making a difference. The fact that we can have such an incredible input or involvement with community groups. We have those big collaborations with Share the Dignity. Steve and I recently raised 15 grand for Vinnie's through the CEO Sleep Out. But we also have this philosophy where we contribute to essentially any small community group that asks us through in-kind donations or vouchers. So I know across Brisbane we've contributed to over 1,000 different P&Cs, school groups, hockey groups, you name it. And for me, it's my way of being able to give back, which I just haven't been able to do before, and that really drives me about making a difference and really wanting to see and drive that change, particularly in marketing and products around diversity and inclusivity, because I think Australia, we're making progress, but we are so far behind and there is so much work to do. And I've definitely refound that, ignited that fire in me again to really go hard there.
And how about you? What do you think is the secret to success?
I think for me, it's been, I think when things, pushing through a fear, essentially. I think when we're uncomfortable with things, when we're scared about doing things, it's normally a sign that you actually need to push through to get you to the next level. So I think there's been so many times throughout our journey that we've been nervous about doing things, whether it's just from the start, from telling our friends that we're starting a business, to approaching an influencer, to doing a podcast. And it's been really scary. And we've just, it'd be easy to go, oh, I'm not going to do that. It's out of my comfort zone. I can't go there. But we do just keep pushing ourselves. And, we look back and go, oh, that's easy to do now. We're fine doing that. But there was a point where it wasn't. So you've just got to continually push yourself. And, being scared and being uncomfortable is actually a really good thing. Embracing that and just, getting to that next level.
I love that. I think that's such great advice for all the women out there. Just, it's okay to be afraid. Just keep going. Put yourself out of your comfort zone, because that's where all the magic happens. Well, thank you so much.
Sorry. I was going to say, we have a philosophy that if you're not getting rejected and you're not getting no's, you're actually not asking enough people and you're not putting yourself out there enough. So we do actually celebrate the no's, but we accept that, getting no's and pushback is part of putting yourself out there as well. So don't take it to heart. Just think the more no's, you're closer to a yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been so wonderful having a chat with you and catching up and hearing about all the work that you're doing. And people can reach you at your website, Active Truth, and we can follow you on Instagram at Active Truth as well as Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful.
Great.
So thanks so much for being here. And thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye.